I'm on the tennis court, taking a break after playing a great rally with my friend. We're sitting on the bench, and she turns to me and says, "I have something important to tell you." I give her my full attention. "I'm pregnant," she says, with a sigh of dread and fear. I'm shocked, and she goes on to explain that she has been doing a lot of research into how to get an abortion, and how surprised she was to find that Massachusetts requires the parents of a minor to know if the minor wants to get an abortion. I'm furious at the country and my state, and I am prepared to fight for reproductive rights for everyone, even more now that it has been made personal. Given that nearly 1 in 4 women in the United States will have an abortion before the age of 45, and that approximately 86.9% of women have reproductive capabilities, it is highly likely you know someone in your life who is affected by a lack of access to reproductive rights. As a woman who has reproductive capabilities, I am personally involved in any restrictions, and so I have a strong desire to fight for easy accessibility. In addition, I've done significant research for this speech with 15 credible sources, some of which I will directly reference throughout. I have 3 main points about reproductive rights. First, I will discuss abortion. Second, I will examine contraception. Third, I will discuss Planned Parenthood and how it encompasses the first 2 points. Reproductive rights, including abortion and contraception, should be made easily accessible and available to anyone who wishes them throughout the United States. Abortion should be a viable option for anyone who needs it, as it is a reproductive right. Abortion has been made into a political topic involving everyone, including people who cannot possibly have children, for example, men. The decision to abort a fetus belongs to the woman, and the woman alone, although she can involve whomever she wishes in her consideration of the decision. This is due in part to several ideas, one of which is bodily autonomy. Bodily autonomy is the right for a person to govern what happens to their body without external influence or coercion. Because bodily autonomy is a right of life, it is also a constitutional right, as the Constitution states that a person cannot be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process. As many women across the country see men making the legislature that governs what they do with their bodies, they feel frustration. In addition, the men seem to know nothing about how women's bodies work. For example, after a majority male state senate in Alabama voted in one of the strictest abortion laws in the United States, lawmakers could not articulate how the law would fully be enacted. According to Jen Medium, when Senator Clyde Chambliss, a Republican, for example, was asked if the law would allow for incest victims to obtain abortions, he responded, "Yes, until she knows she's pregnant." He could not articulate how she would know to get an abortion before she knew she was pregnant. Women become frustrated when there are other people passing legislation who are not affected by it. In addition to the wish of keeping other people's opinions out of women's bodies, abortions can be life-saving. Pregnancy is a life-threatening condition in and of itself. According to the CDC, the maternal mortality rate in 2018 was 17.4 per 100,000 live births in the United States. The rate varies with different races, including 37.1 deaths per 100,000 for non-Hispanic Black women, 14.7 for non-Hispanic white women, and 11.8 for Hispanic women. According to the Guttmacher Institute, a committee of the National Academies of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine reviewed the available evidence and confirmed in a 2018 report that abortion is safe and effective. In addition, abortions stop potentially fatal pregnancies. Recently, Senator Gary Peters, a Democrat representing Michigan, discussed his wife's abortion for the first time. Heidi Peters, 4 months into her pregnancy with their second child, discovered that she was at risk of losing her uterus or possibly dying if she did not have an abortion. According to The Hill, the hospital board denied the doctor's request for an exception to the hospital's policy against abortions. Peters eventually went to another hospital where she was given an emergency abortion that quite likely saved her life. While this is one of the more public stories today, there are thousands more like it. Legal and safe abortions save lives, and thus it should be made available to those who need it. Since abortion is a life-saving reproductive right, it should be easily accessible. However, society can reduce the need for abortions by providing access to contraception. Contraception, or birth control, should be easily acquirable for anyone who is able to use it due to its benefits for women. Countries that have made contraception available and that include it in their sex education have lower rates of teen pregnancy and abortion. For women aged 15 to 19, pregnancy rates significantly differed between 5 countries: Canada, the United States, Sweden, France, and Great Britain, in a gathering of government statistics and surveys. According to the Guttmacher Institute, in the mid-1990s, the pregnancy rates for France and Sweden were 20 and 25 per 1,000 women aged 15 to 19, respectively. The pregnancy rates were approximately twice that level in Canada and Great Britain, 46 and 47 per 1,000, respectively, and 4 times that level in the United States, 84 per 1,000. To compare that with the lack of use of contraceptives by that age group in the respective countries, 20% of sexually active adolescents at risk of pregnancy in the United States were not using any contraceptives, compared to 12% in France and 4 to 7% in Sweden and Great Britain. This information demonstrates that a higher use of contraceptives results in less teen pregnancies. In addition, a lack of access and education about contraception does not lower the teen pregnancy rate, a fairly significant issue in the United States. 20 states require only abstinence is covered in sex education, or there is no mandate for sex education altogether. Of those states, 4 of them are in the top 6 ranking of high rates of pregnancy among women aged 15 to 19. In addition, there is research that suggests that states with more conservative religious beliefs have higher rates of teenagers giving birth. According to the Journal of Adolescent Health in 2017, a multitude of studies demonstrated that abstinence only until marriage programs, or AOUMs, have consistently been a failure in deterring teens from risky behaviors and have gobbled up millions of dollars in learning hours along the way. It is clear that abstinence-only education does not work, and therefore contraception should be implemented in the sex education curriculum, and it should be made available for those who need it. As one can clearly see, abortion and contraceptives are both reproductive rights that aid society on a whole if they are made accessible. A way to make them obtainable is through an organization that specializes in them, one such being Planned Parenthood. Planned Parenthood offers access to many aspects of reproductive rights, yet they are being defunded when they need more money in this critical time. While Planned Parenthood is made famous by the fact that it provides abortions, abortions are not its only facet. In fact, in 2017, abortions made up only 3.4% of their services, according to Planned Parenthood. Other services they provide are STI testing and treatment, contraception, other women's health services, such as pregnancy tests, prenatal services, and miscarriage care, cancer screenings and prevention, and other services, such as adoption referrals and urinary tract infection treatments. With their wide variety of services, they are able to treat roughly 2.4 million patients every year. However, with the plans of the current administration, Planned Parenthood will lose most, if not all, of the federal funding they were receiving. In September of 2019, as stated by PolitiFact, the Trump administration enacted a rule that effectively said that any facility receiving federal Title X funding cannot also be an abortion provider. Before, abortion providers could use Title X funds as long as they were not used for abortion services. In August of 2019, Planned Parenthood decided to stop taking Title X funding in order to continue providing abortion services. Because the Trump administration is pro-life, they are doing all that they can to stop funding Planned Parenthood and potentially shut the organization down entirely. States are also attempting to shut down Planned Parenthood clinics in their area simply because they provide abortion services. According to the Guttmacher Institute, 18 states have abortion-related restrictions on the allocation of public funds, which means that 18 states block funding for organizations that provide abortion services, one such organization being Planned Parenthood. In fact, because it is more well-known, it is often targeted by state and federal legislature. Because Planned Parenthood provides many other essential services besides abortions, it should not be defunded. In summary, because abortion is a reproductive right, it should be made available to anyone who so chooses it, especially because it can save lives. Contraception is also a reproductive right, and it reduces the need for abortions, so it should also be made easily accessible. Because Planned Parenthood covers both of these essential reproductive rights and more, it should not be defunded by state or federal legislatures. Reproductive rights, including abortion and contraception, should be made easily accessible and available to anyone who wishes them throughout the United States. As I talked out with my friend about her viable options and their potential dangers, one such being illegal drugs from foreign countries, I looked at the reproductive legislation in place in this country and I felt disappointed. I am still ready to fight for every woman's reproductive rights, and I hope no woman has to go through what my friend did.